Namaskar. It's show time again, but with a changed timing. So at 5 p.m. today, we will be having a panel discussion. And why today panel discussion? Because there are many differences of opinion in how a particular career can be done, and along with differences of opinion, we do have different perspectives. So, to understand the perspectives in the field of physiotherapy and yoga, we have got some experts with us. And without further delay, I would like to call them up. We have got three people on the panel, and we will be alternately asking them the questions, very important questions pertaining to the career in physiotherapy as well as yoga. A little bit about the field before I introduce them. We all know what a physiotherapy thing is. We all know what yoga is. But sometimes we don't know that nowadays yoga gives you a bachelor's degree, and that is called as BNYS, and Bachelor in Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. So this is a full-fledged degree, a BSc degree, whereby you can study yoga and naturopathy in combination. So gone are the times when yoga was studied in, say, some related to some ashrams, or some different pathies, or some people who were masters in this particular sciences. But yes, along with that, now we have structured the syllabus under Ayush Ministry, and we can now study and get a degree. So without further delay, we would like to invite, but I won't tell the names, and they'll themselves tell the names. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Hello, both of you. So, Dr. Priyanka, and she has told me that it has to be written PH in bracket, PT in bracket, that is. You can call them a doctor, but within brackets, you have to write ethically speaking, you have to write PT in bracket, because they are doctor in physiotherapy. But yes, they can be called as doctors. So, out there, students who are viewing us, you can be called as doctors. So, yes, Dr. Priyanka. Tell us something about yourself.
Uh, Not audible.
Tell something about yourself.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for inviting us. From both of us, from our side, we thank you. So, as you said that, like we write PT in the bracket. So, if you do a PhD in physiotherapy, then you can write a doctor without the PT. So,
Yes,
about
very true.
myself, I've done my bachelor's and master's from Pune
Mm-hmm.
itself, from
Okay.
Maharashtra University of Health Sciences.
Mm-hmm.
So, in bachelor's, I was in Sancheti Institute's College of Physiotherapy, and for masters at Deccan Education Society's Brijlal Jindal College of Physiotherapy. So
Okay,
now I've
great,
been working for 5 years after masters.
great. And what about Mrs. Anuja?
Hi, I'm Anuja Mehendale,
Yeah.
born and brought up in Mumbai. Originally, I'm from Mumbai,
Oh,
Vile Parle.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So my schooling and college, everything I did from Vile Parle.
Mm-hmm.
And in 81, I did basic yoga course for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, after that, I did 3 months course. And after my graduation in commerce, I did teachers training course. And we shifted to Pune after my marriage. And then I started taking classes at home.
Great, great, great. So you both of you are a deadly combination, yoga and physiotherapy, I think so. So yes, now I would like to add up our next panelist to the stream. So I would like to add Dr. Kranti. Hello, Dr. Kranti.
Hello.
Yeah, tell us something about yourself.
First of all, I would like to thank the forum for giving me this opportunity. And just to say something about me, my name is Kranti Gargil, and I am working as a health physiotherapist at Cloud9 Hospitals, Shivaji Nagar, Pune, currently. And I'm working as a physiotherapist since past 11 years. I have complete my bachelor's and then I started my clinical working. So in 2009, I passed out from Tirak Maharashtra University for physiotherapy. And further on, I did my clinicals and even Priyanka's mom, I also done the teacher's course in yoga and all. Yes, it can be blend of exercises for yoga and physiotherapy, and that can help many people. So yes, definitely looking forward to have a great talk here.
Yeah, sure. So, Dr. Priyanka, talking about you, I have got many questions in my mind regarding masters in physiotherapy. When we talk specially about the masters, and I know that physiotherapy is a implementation science. It's not something which you could simply read in the books and you could do anything about it. You have to go to the field, you have to go near to the patients, you have to get the things done, and your work starts after the operation sometimes, or after a baby is delivered sometimes, and many a times it's post operative. So clubbed, many things together, two or three things simultaneously happening. So what's your take on that?
So, ma'am, as you basically said that yes, it is a professional course,
Mm-hmm.
which along with learning the theory, the practical aspect of it is equally important. So, because you have to practice finally after
Yeah.
your completion. So, basically, for practice, the basic requirement is your graduation, which is the degree is called your Bachelor's in Physiotherapy or
Mm-hmm.
BPTH, and after that is followed by Masters.
Okay.
So, as you said, ma'am, there are different parts in the profession. So, there is a preventive aspect, which can
Hmm.
be, as you said, antenatal care for pregnant
Hmm.
women or injury prevention. Then there is a rehabilitation aspect, where you are looking at people who may have some acute or chronic illnesses. So, it can be a trauma or a fracture or surgeries, or it can be even diseases like arthritis, which can go for a long period of time. And the third aspect is also like now we are seeing the role in COVID patients also. So it is
Okay.
also uh, as a life-saving modality also it is
Mm-hmm.
recognized in the ICU setups. So all these
Great.
areas.
We would like to gain more knowledge on what you talked as life-saving modalities. We'll be coming back to you, but yes, Anuja ma'am, what is your experience regarding yoga, and what was your experience when you shifted to this particular profession? You must be loving the profession, therefore you shifted. I am sure for that, because you have got a huge experience of around 25 years in the field. So what was your personal experience, and what would you advise people out there how they should look at yoga?
Actually, when I did this teacher's course, I did it from Yoga Vidyaniketan, Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
That time, it was not in my mind at all. I will start classes or anything. But as we shifted to Pune, Priyanka started going to school. Then I did started getting a little more time. So I started class with one student. Then
Mm-hmm.
by word of mouth, it got spread, and more participants came, and then mostly those were the ladies like between 30 to 40 or 30 to 50 year of age between, and I was also getting more experience while teaching them. Uh, I enjoyed that. 10 years I took classes, and it was nice when you see some person getting cured, or if some minor ailment is there, like someone maybe having headache or someone having backache,
Mm-hmm.
and after coming to class after 3 4 months practice, when they tell you that my backache is got cured or my backache is gone,
Mm-hmm.
you feel so nice, you feel
Yeah.
satisfied, something I can give them, my knowledge is useful. It was very
Yes.
nice,
Yes.
very nice feeling.
Yeah, and nowadays I think India is going far ahead in terms of yoga, because we have initiated a International Yoga Day, and I think it's our duty, because it's our science. It has originated at our place, so it's our duty to reinvent it, if at all it is not, rather than someone else going abroad and then coming back and telling us that yoga is a good thing. It's, I think, our duty. So yes, nice talking to you. Coming back to Dr. Kranti, what exactly was your experience? And one more question I would like to ask all of you: why this field? Why not any other field? Why this? At some point of time, so see, I have interviewed many people and I always keep asking this question: when was that moment when you felt that you have to enter in this field, and why was that? Was your why clear, or you simply landed up in this field? So yes, Dr. Kranti, what is your experience?
My experience is like when I was in 11th standard, at that time it was just like whether you have to go to science side, you will be a doctor or you will be an engineer at that times. And doctor means everyone just says that, you'll go to MBBS and you'll become a surgeon and all.
Hmm.
So going through this, I had met a small accident at
Hmm.
that time. And after that, I was being told to take physiotherapy.
Hmm.
So that is the first time I heard the word physiotherapy.
Okay.
And then I took my treatment and everything. And when I was in 12th standard, so there was a career counseling meet for us. So
Hmm.
in that, they had given us many options, and when I was being counseled, so she told me that this is not known yet because
Hmm.
I started it in 2005. So at
Okay.
that time, physiotherapy was like, what is physiotherapy? Like you just said that
Hmm.
people were not knowing it. So at that time, it was like this is a new field, and
Hmm.
in this also you can take care of patients, you can give them a nice experience. It's not like that you just have to be a MBBS doctor, BHMS doctor or something. There are vast fields which are upcoming, like now we have occupational therapists, we have speech therapists, many branches are coming up. So this was a very new upcoming branch at that time for me. And having a experience with a physiotherapist, I think she was from Sancheti too. So I thought like when I applied for CET that I will have this as an option, and luckily I got my admission for physiotherapy. So that is how I decided to come to this field. So maybe that moment when I wanted help for exercises, because I was not able to do my wrist movement, certain wrist movement.
Hmm.
So I think that was the point when I thought that why not I can do this. If
Hmm.
ever I am thinking of becoming a medical professional, why not I can be a physiotherapist? So I think that is the point where I thought that yes, I should go for it.
Great. So that was maybe a life defining moment for you, or a life turning
Definitely.
moment for you, that yes, you were exposed to a certain field which was not so very much known. And
Yeah.
I always understood one very funny thing about this particular branch is that physiotherapists usually try to tell that, okay, we are also doctors, we have also studied anatomy, we have also studied physiology, we have also gone through biochemistry. It's not that only MBBS doctors know all these branches or all these subjects, we are also being taught, so we are equally doctors, something like that. So a vast amount of population has to be educated that physiotherapist is not a person simply who takes your leg up and down and takes your hand up and down and make you
Yes,
exercise,
I
because
want
that a
to
gym
add
person also does.
something.
So yes.
Actually, what happened is that when I was like out in my clinicals, so first thing it was like ki, either you are divided into two groups. Priyanka will also agree with me. Either you are a doctor or you are a paramedic.
Hmm.
So a paramedic can be a radiologist, a paramedic can be a nursing, a paramedic can be a lactation or a dietitian, anyone. But we have studied more than these people. So if you want to grant us something different, then at least you make a subdivision for us, but don't put us under the paramedics branch because we
It
are
is done now.
equivalent to doctors.
Yes,
Priyanka
yes,
can say
Dr.
something on
Yeah,
it.
yes, Dr.
Yeah, so
Priyanka. Yeah.
I would like
So
to.
coming back to the original question, what was the life defining moment for you when you chose this particular career? And then you can
So
add up to what Kranti said.
yeah, so 2 3 points I'd like to add later on.
Mm.
For me, it was not a very conscious decision that I want to do this only or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
have a relative who is a physiotherapist. She is now over 60 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
physiotherapy has existed for a very
Mm-hmm.
long time, but the
Mm-hmm.
awareness has come up more now.
Yeah.
because of her, I knew a little bit about the profession, and I
Mm-hmm.
also liked biology a lot. So that was one
Mm-hmm.
of the reasons why I chose to come into the field. So
Mm-hmm.
what I would like to add is regarding there's a recent bill which has been passed actually, like
Mm-hmm.
2021. It is I've written down because the name is long. It's
Yeah.
called National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professionals. It is
Mm-hmm.
called a NA, um, sorry, NCAH bill. So
Mm.
that has properly defined 10 different sections of
Mm.
different physiotherapists, nutritionists, who comes under healthcare professionals, who comes under
Okay.
allied health, paramedic,
Mm.
etc. So as Kranti ma'am said that physiotherapy is different from paramedic, different from allied
Mm.
health.
Mm-hmm.
So the students can refer to that bill to check out the
Yeah.
class.
So now it has been properly differentiated on papers. It was there, but on papers maybe now it has been differentiated. These people have made some differentiation between paramedics, healthcare professionals, and doctors or physicians, what you can say. Yes. So Anuja ma'am, would you like to add something, any moment of time, as you said that you simply took your training and you landed up in yoga. So any point of time you yeah.
Yeah, honestly telling, when I did my first basic 1 month course,
Mm-hmm.
that I did just my mom pushed me actually. She was
Mm-hmm.
very fond of yoga, Ayurveda, and all these practices. And in childhood, I used to get cough and cold in the rainy season or while the season used to change. So for that, she wanted me to do the yoga class also.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 10th, when I got vacation, it was really boring. Like I got vacation now, 10th is over. And instead of doing fun, getting late in the morning, I had to go to 6:30 morning yoga class. So
Yoga
that was,
class.
that time, honestly, it was very much boring and I used to get angry on my mom.
Yeah.
But later I started liking, and as I got benefits of because of that, like my cough and cold got over, then
Mm-hmm.
I really started liking it. And then after my degree, I took decision that I should do teacher's course and spread this knowledge and tell others also the
Great,
benefits.
great. Yeah, great. Uh, yes, Priyanka. So, out of the blue, how do you react under pressure?
So pressure in terms of like in professional work,
Yes,
like
clinical setting.
so it happens sometimes when you're working in a hospital, there are 20 people waiting outside,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to treat everyone. Sometimes the number of therapists are less.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is on a leave. That happens. So we have to also have some management skills at time to manage that number of patients. So we
Mm-hmm.
cannot panic, and patients also, they ask how much time do we have to wait. So we have
Oh,
to answer
yes. Mm.
with patience. We have to answer them, and
Mm.
sometimes even simultaneously you might have to. You're asking somebody history. You're the other patient may be doing the exercises. You have to supervise that. So you may have to do that to manage the situation.
Great. So, yes, Dr. Kranti, what is your experience? How do you react under pressure?
As
And
rightly said,
is it a pressurized job per se?
you can't say it is a pressurized job as per se, but I will say that it requires a lot of patience and you have to be very much under control. You have to keep your cool because you are going to see a vast number of patients. Like sometimes when you are in ICU and if you have a case of road traffic accident, the patient is in ICU for 15 days and you are going every day giving the patient exercises, doing chest PT. You don't see a flicker of movement. At that
Mm.
time, you cannot get angry that I'm doing this for 15 days and there is still nothing. So
Whom to
that
get angry
patience,
to? That's the question.
yeah, so that patience you should have. And second thing is that management skill said right by Priyanka, you need to have them because you need to give every patient time. You need
Mm.
to make them understand that your time is important, but yes, due to certain things, we are not able to manage it. So
Mm.
sometimes we can't vent out our anger. So I
Hmm.
think that keeping your cool and having patience is the most important thing. Fewer time it happens that you get results in few minutes, seconds, and fewer times I have treated patients who have shown result even after 6 months, 7 months. So you
Great.
have to be very patient when you're
Mhm.
treating a patient, when particularly patient who are from a neuro rehab point of view, or
Yeah.
pediatric patients. So all these patients you have to be very patient.
Yes. So, but during this session, both of you, or rather, all the three of you, have answered the question of like, what are the traits and the skills of a good physiotherapist or a good yoga person? Because these are the traits you must have. If you don't have them, then maybe your career may not be that successful. Because if you are getting angry to your patients whom you are going to treat, you're not going to land up anywhere. Because this particular profession is a skill where you require very good communication skills, very good patience, and yes, as she said, you have to keep your cool all the time. So very some of the important traits you must be having. So Priyanka, who is your motivator or role model?
Role model, my mother is my role model at home. So many new things she learns, explores different areas. Professionally with my guide, Dr. Dipti Bhore ma'am. So she's
Okay.
also a big motivator. Apart
Yes,
from my
doctor. Mhm.
Dr.
Yeah,
Kranti,
yeah, please continue. Apart from that.
there are some therapists, like of course we haven't seen them anytime or met them, but through
Mhm.
their writing or their research, they also
Mhm.
inspire.
Yeah, great.
Like,
And Dr. Priyanka, one more question for you. Are there any chances of research in this particular area? Are there any fields which are yet to be tracked, which you people are still exploring? Because you have done your masters, and I'm sure you must have done your thesis or your research paper. You must have done that in your while doing your masters. So, are there any areas still left out to be researched?
definitely, there are like so many every day in the clinical practice. Kranti ma'am will be able to tell us so many new things that keep coming up, and even
Mm-hmm.
small things which, like, even so, for example, normal data. Now, if we say that what is the normal amount of neck movement, so if
Hmm.
somebody has assessed this say 10 years back or 15 years back, today we might have to assess that again. So
Hmm.
new equipments come, some new kind of outcome measures come.
Hmm.
So research is a very big aspect. A lot of research
Okay.
can be.
A lot of research can be done. Okay, Dr. Kranti, I think you are more into the clinical side of it, and
Yeah.
you are out there in the profession on the field for past 10-15 years. So, what is your experience regarding the clinicals, and how many patients on an average a person like you can see, or a person like you can address to, cater to?
Setup, like hospital setup, if you say,
Mm-hmm.
then there can be lot many patients, like as Priyanka was referring just now, that there can be 20 patients. Okay, we see lot of patients. So my experience is like I have worked in a hospital setup, and I
Mm-hmm.
am even providing home service. So when I was doing clinicals, at that
Mm-hmm.
time on an average we used to get 30 to 40 patients in
Mm-hmm.
a part-time OPD, like evening OPD I used to handle. So
Mm-hmm.
on an average, I used to see 15 to 16 patients, and that was quite tiring actually. And
Okay.
speaking about home visits, like many people out there nowadays, it's like people have divided clinicals like a hospital job and a private home visit service. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so many people have this thing that someone works in hospital, someone only provides home service, or someone is having their own clinic running. If you see all these apps nowadays, Healthify, Practo, everyone, they are
Mm-hmm.
hiring physios. They tell that you can consult 5 to 4 home visits, and you can provide them home service. I used to do at least 4 patients a day when I used to go for home visits, and I had few patients who I have deal very long term. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was a patient of mine; she had a MS. For her, I did treatment for 5 years.
Oh,
So one of CP kid, I was there. I did that treatment for 9 months. So it depends upon, like, the treatment part depends, or the how many duration will be there. It depends upon what is the progression. But yes, in clinical, you have hospital, you have your private practice, or you can even opt for only home visits. So that
great.
is the thing I have been through.
Can you explain our viewers what do you exactly mean by modalities?
Exactly, meaning by
No,
modalities
any
is
interesting example related to that?
most interesting example for all the IT people out there. People
Mm-hmm.
come to us that I'm having neck pain. I took
Mm-hmm.
some medication. I applied Volini spray. I took ice pack and everything. I have Googled everything, done everything. Nothing is working out.
Mm-hmm.
So they come to us, I am having tremendous pain, what should I do? So the first
Mm-hmm.
question we ask is, do you exercise? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, nahi ma'am, we don't get time and all.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, like, a person is coming to me and having his trapezius muscle, which is completely in spasm, not able to move, and he wants me to do some magic, and he
Mm-hmm.
should be like, okay. So this doesn't happen, because
Mm-hmm.
to start with our exercise therapy, we need the patient to have the pain tolerance. So here where is the modalities, or we called it as a electrotherapy, comes
Mm-hmm.
into play. So there are different type of modalities used nowadays. Many modalities are coming up. So in electrotherapy, basically we have ultrasound, IFT, even laser are being used these days for many conditions. Like, connecting to this example, like, if that patient is having trapezius spasm, if I try ultrasound modality, I give him a IFT therapy, and that is helping that patient to get down the pain. So once the pain is down to 50 to 60% of tolerance, then I can begin with the exercises.
Great.
Electrotherapy, I can say, is helping us, but it is not the complete solution. We
Mm-hmm.
have this rift, you can say. There are people who only use exclusively electrotherapy. There are people who only exclusively use exercise therapy. If I am not wrong, Priyanka can tell that in Sancheti Hospital, they have lot of belief on hands-on. So exercise
Yes.
therapy is main. Yes, because main thing is you have to go for exercises. But
Mm-hmm.
when at a point you're not going for exercises due to pain or something, then electrotherapy plays an important role. Okay. And with the help of electrotherapy and exercise therapy, we can give better treatment to the patient.
Great. Yes, Dr. Priyanka. So, any modalities or any interesting example you would like to put forth for our viewers?
Yeah. So, like for the students to basically understand, as Dr. Kranti was saying, what exactly the therapist does.
Hmm.
So that I'll just explain in short. That
Mm-hmm.
like suppose you have somebody with a knee arthritis. So
Hmm.
that is medical diagnosis of that patient. He will have an X-ray which will show that it is having some knee problem. So if he comes
Mm-hmm.
to a therapist, he can
Mm-hmm.
come directly. He can come, or he might come through other doctors also.
Mm-hmm.
So what does a therapist do? He will look at the pain. He'll look
Hmm.
at what is the flexibility, what is the muscle strength, how does the person walk. So all these assessments are done, and then
Mm-hmm.
based on that, these modalities are decided whether the
Hmm.
pain is more or stiffness is more, or whether
Hmm.
he can directly go for exercises. So mainly in the treatment, we have exercises are there. Those are also of different types. Then we have electrotherapy, as ma'am said. And even manual therapy is one important part of physiotherapy. Those are hands-on techniques which don't use any kind of modality. So the therapist applies certain kind of stretching or mobilization or releases, which also helps with the symptoms of the person.
Okay.
So
Okay. Great. Great. Am I audible?
yes, yes.
Okay. Going forward, Priyanka, Kranti, can you hear me? I think she is still. Okay, going forward, Priyanka ma'am, you just now said and you have done your master's. So, while doing your, how the master courses, or let me understand the duration first of your bachelor's, and then can you go directly to your master's, or would you advise to get some experience before going to your master's?
Okay. I didn't answer your previous question about the incident. I'll answer that later.
Yeah, please.
So a bachelor's degree is of 4 years, and after that you have a 6 months internship. So once the internship is completed, there is a internship completion certificate, which after you get that, it is officially you have completed your graduation. So you can practice after that, after registration.
Yeah.
So there is a state council, like for Maharashtra, we have the Maharashtra State OTPT Council. So you register with the council, and then you can practice. That is within Maharashtra. So for every
Okay.
different states, they have, some states have their own councils. For masters, you can take a gap, you can take work experience. Otherwise, you can go directly also for masters.
You
And
can go directly.
right
And
now,
what are the
like,
areas? Just some interesting. One viewer is asking, how much does dry needling work? Is it effective?
okay. So master's duration, I'll shortly explain. It is of it was 3 years when I had done it. So 2 years is the duration right now in MUHS. Dry needling is being used by certain therapists. There are courses being done. In your bachelor's, in the syllabus as such, dry needling is not taught as a
Okay.
part of that. And for practicing of dry needling, you have to complete certain courses, which you have to take the credentials of that separately, and then
Okay.
you can officially you can practice that after you've taken
Okay. But do you feel it's effective? Have you experienced that, or have you done that?
Yes, I have studied dry needling. I don't practice it a lot. I have used it in a few patients, but it is you have to select the patients very properly. As in, it may not work for everybody. Suppose somebody has fear of the needle is there, or is apprehensive, then it
Yeah.
will not work in that case.
True. 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 Yes, Dr. Kranti. Further going with you, what was your clinical experience, and what is the most satisfying moment for you?
My clinical experience has been amazing because I have seen women's health also. Currently, I'm looking in women's health. And talking about women's health, like you were asking Priyanka, that can you do something, some researches in women's health? This is the area I think most of people know that there is a huge opportunity for everybody, because in women's health people think what we do. So when I coming through various things, that I can say that yes, I can do this. There are been pelvic floor muscle physios, pelvic rehab physio. Nowadays, if you see, lots and lot girls, they are having PCOD or PCO. People think that with all these problems, but no, even with exercising and having a proper balanced diet, it has helped a lot in having cure with these problems. So yes, there is a huge opportunity in women's health for a physio also. And talking about the other experiences like I had during my clinicals when I was working in an orthopedic setup, the most satisfaction thing was like the smile the patient used to have on the last day of telling that yes, today is the last day of my therapy and I'm very fine. So I have patients who had appreciated, who had left us a small note of appreciation that due to you I'm able to do this, due to you I'm able to do that. And yes, this appreciation is very important for us to keep going on further. And we always are in touch with the people. They tell us, yes, you treated me that time, so I can do these things now. I can refer you to anyone. So it feels great that I was able to help them when they were in pain, and most importantly, at the proper time, they got the proper treatment, and that is why they were able to move on. So this is the most
Yes.
important thing for me, that whenever a patient is coming to me, I just don't want to treat that patient, but yes, the patient should be satisfied with my treatment. It's not just like,
Yes.
I have a target of seeing 15 patients, I have done that and that's it for the day. No, the
True. Very
satisfaction
true.
of the
Very
patient.
true.
Over here, when as of now I am in women's health, so when a lady comes and tells me that I had my normal delivery and I was very skeptical that how the things will go, but your
Hmm.
breathing exercises or the antenatal exercises you took helped me a lot and I was able to deliver normal. So that is
Hmm.
like the happiest moment, that I was a part of that thing when she delivered the baby and I was able to help her. So that is the most enjoying moment, I would say. So
Great.
that is the
Yes.
thing you
Yes.
get when your patients are giving you appreciation.
Yes. Great. Anuja, ma'am, what would you advise? Why should one go for yoga?
Yeah, actually, see, in any other exercises, emphasis is more given on physical fitness. With due respect to all the
No, 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 no. I was asking the question to both
yeah,
of
yeah.
you that how much do you differ and how much do you fight? Suppose you have got one patient, you who takes the course of decision that whether the patient has to be treated physiotherapically or yogic way. So yes, and from this question arises one question: what is the difference between the two paths? How they differ? Because we know that they complement each other, because physiotherapist has been taught or they are being taught yoga as a paper, but so they complement each other, but is there any contradiction?
See, in physiotherapy or any other field or any other exercise,
Hmm.
when you are having acute pain or something, yoga cannot help. Means you
Hmm.
have to get cured or the treatment should be done. And
Hmm.
then for maintaining that body parts,
Hmm.
what you call it,
Hmm.
functioning,
Function.
then
Hmm.
yoga can help.
Hmm.
But while you are having acute pain or after immediate operation, you have to wait and then you can do yoga. But after
Okay.
operation, physiotherapy can help. So, and mainly, as I said, physical fitness as well as mental fitness is also being taken care of in yoga, because
Hmm. Hmm.
mind
Hmm.
body both fields or both things
Yes.
you have to treat. So that is main difference I can say.
True, true, very true, very true. uh, to both of you physiotherapists, how important is the timing of the treatment? Like in case of heart attack, we say that first half an hour is a golden hour. Do you feel that in case of physiotherapy also, the earlier the patient comes to you, the better the results you can provide? And so, what and when should people come to you?
Kranti?
Who will be the first one to go? Yes, Kranti ma'am.
Priyanka.
Okay, Priyanka.
Yeah, so
Hello?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I think timing is extremely important
Mm-hmm.
because earlier that the treatment is started, the better the results are. Even the condition of the person before the injury also matters. So if
Okay.
he's fit before the injury, he'll recover faster. If he comes to
Mm-hmm.
us earlier, it will be easy for us. If after
Mm-hmm.
the fracture, if somebody is in a plaster cast and after the
Hmm.
cast is removed, he does not
Hmm.
immediately start. Few exercises can be started immediately. Even
Hmm.
within the plaster cast, we sometimes give few finger movements. And then once the cast is removed, depending on the healing, slowly we go for the exercise. So it can go into a lot of stiffness, and later, sometimes it becomes like a permanent thing. We cannot correct it if it comes
Hmm.
very late to us.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Kranti. What's your take on that?
Yes, as rightly said by Priyanka, the timing is very important because your prognosis of the disease or your prognosis depends on the timing, whether it is good or bad. So I will take an example of
Mm-hmm.
paralysis at the facial muscle area. Okay, so the nerve supplying the facial muscles are near the eyeball. Okay, if that is some way having any impact or trauma, you can say you have Bell's palsy. So in this patient's timing is very much important because many people ask us that they have this weakness, so their facial expressions they are not developing, and then you come to know the importance of your expressions, like you're not able to smile, you're not able to do eye closure movement. So within
Mm-hmm.
21 days, if you start electrical stimulation, do the course of 21 days complete, you have prognosis of more than 90%. But if you make delay,
Okay.
or if you are skipping your sessions, then the prognosis going to change accordingly. So timing
Hmm.
is very much important for any patient to take the treatment, and as early you come, you will have good prognosis. As we rightly say that prevention is better than cure. So you have to prevent going into the bad progression. So as early you come and as early you start with the treatment, better is the cure.
Great. How many, roughly, Dr. Kranti, how many councils and how many memberships one has to be affiliated to or get oneself registered to in this particular profession to give your credentials?
Actually, we are at the verge of having our council, okay, as like medical council we have. So we are at the verge of having physiotherapy council. So many
Mm-hmm.
states in India have already found their councils. Like I'm working in Maharashtra, so we have OTPT, that is Occupational Therapy and Physical Therapy Council of
Hmm.
Maharashtra, which is a government council. So I think roughly 17 states have their councils, and when all the states will have their
Hmm.
council, they are going to merge into one, and then we will have a one council which is run under government for the physiotherapist, which will solve
Mm-hmm.
many of our questions. But as
Hmm.
of now, we also have IAP, that is Indian Association of Physiotherapists, which is
Mm-hmm.
an private association. But over here in Maharashtra, if you have to practice, then you have to get registered under OTPT Council of Maharashtra State. So I have been registered with the OTPT Council, and this council was like found after I completed my clinicals. So I do have IAP registration also. So
Mm-hmm.
these two are there. But I would say that state council, wherever you are working, is very much important for you to work as a licensed physiotherapist, which is very important.
Dr. Priyanka, do you have to renew your license or once done is forever?
So there are certain time periods given, like after 5 years or so, or if you even upgrade, you do your masters, then you need
Mm-hmm.
to upgrade that license. So when you receive that registration, you will you normally get all the information. There's a website also of the state council. All the information is there on that. How you renew the registration, when to renew. So all these things are there on that.
Okay. One more thing, do you feel both of you are into the profession, working hard for so many years? Do you feel that this sector is a pretty bit unorganized still?
I think it's a very vast, varied field. I mean, within
Mm-hmm.
physiotherapy also, there are so many specializations. People are working in ICU. They are working on in sports, women's health. So many areas which sometimes they are not even connected with each other. All these areas are very different. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
it appears that it is not connected. But I don't think it is like that. Like through the councils and the association, all the therapists they come together.
Okay.
They are connected.
Okay. That means what I understand is that if you want to practice as a physiotherapist, you have to get yourself registered like a MBBS doctor does. And as well, you have to get a license to practice. Is that so?
No, there's just the registration. There is
Okay.
nothing
There is
separate.
nothing like licensing, but there is a registration thing happening, which you register yourself after you have done your degree, right?
Yes.
Whether you have done your bachelor's or you have done your master's.
After
Okay.
your bachelor's, you need to complete your internship fully. Then
Mm-hmm.
those documents are required for your registration. Then you can start practicing.
Okay. 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 Uh, how easy it is nowadays? Physiotherapy is through NEET.
Yes, I'm not like completely sure about this, but it is through NEET. Like all the
Hmm.
other that time it was
Government
CET.
colleges and all take the entrance through NEET itself. Okay. Okay. Great. Dr. Kranti, the question for you is. Where do you see yourself 10 years down the line?
10 years down the line, that I want to become an chief of physiotherapist for a women's health clinic if I plan to start at all. As I
Okay.
said, that we have many things to do in this field. And as Priyanka was mentioning, that you have to do few courses to upgrade yourself and all. There are many things which you can do. Like one is like LCCE, that is childbirth educator, labor and
Mm-hmm.
childbirth educator. You can opt for that. There is about this Lamaze education. You can be a
Mm-hmm.
Lamaze educator. So there are many things, and I have developed a certain interest working in women health. So after 10 years, maybe I would like to see myself having something of myself, developed something that I can give to this field of women's health, not only related to delivery, but yes, for all the teen girls. Like I said, that there are many things the physios can help. We don't have this thing called as knowing your body, or we don't have menstrual education at the school level, which is lacking now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is the high time that we should have all this. And
Mm-hmm.
when I see myself there, then I would
Mm-hmm.
like to go to various schools and various educational forums where I can tell these girls about themselves. They can know their body, they can take care of themselves. We should not have this after 10 years, like a girl will say that, Mama, I'm having this problem, what is this, I am worried, I am afraid. And mom will say, no, it happens because you are a girl. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to tell the girl ki this is the body cycle and what things happen, and educate them so that they can understand in better way.
Hmm. Great. So that's your wish. So that is where you see yourself 10 years down the line. Yes, Dr.
Definitely.
Priyanka, what about you?
For me, I think I would like to have something like a setup where there's a team of different people, not only therapists but even nutritionists or psychology. I would like to
Hmm.
study also a little bit of these
Mm-hmm.
different sciences which are even little related to physiotherapy. So I would like
Mm-hmm.
to work together with a team like this. Would also like to teach
Okay,
that's
so maybe in future you are in with new students or a lot of new brain coming in, so that you could share your experiences with them, and as well going to a holistic setup,
yes.
whereby all the aspect of a person can be treated about, be it a male or female, maybe psychological aspect, physio aspect, and all other aspects of human body. Because in future, human body is the only thing which is maybe natural. Everything is going the artificial intelligence way, because all the work scenario and everything is being handled by artificial intelligence. That's what the future I'm seeing. Okay, so any advice to your juniors, both of your mother and daughter, Dio first?
No, what I feel, every school should start yogic science lectures, or from first standard, or even from fifth standard at least.
Yeah,
And in every house, every member should do yoga as a life, what do you call it?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle,
lifestyle.
not curing or not for a treatment. But every
Mm-hmm.
person, everyone should do yoga every day, regularly. So maybe uh, all these diseases, and we can overcome
Yeah.
these diseases and all.
आय थिंक म्हणूनच प्रियंका तुम्हाला रोल मॉडेल म्हणते अनुजा मॅम, बरोबर ना? येस डॉक्टर प्रियंका.
So I have also like myself faced it that when you treat and when you're under pressure, if you're not exercising yourself, it can happen that you start getting back pain. You start facing problems yourself. So it is very important to exercise yourself or keep yourself also fit physically and mentally. That is one advice I would give. And another thing is like to choose your masters, it should be based on your interest. What you find interest. If you want to do masters, you should do it because you have interest in that particular subject to learn more. It is not out of like some other thing, like whether that is a more popular field or something like that.
Yeah. It's more paying sometimes. The new blood is attracted by the money matters also. It's obvious because they are just starting their careers. But yes, what you said is that you must go with your passion and money comes in automatically, maybe. Yes, Dr. Kranti, what would be your advice to your juniors? What path they should take? And before selecting physiotherapy, what must they understand about this field before even entering the field, so that they are successful either, or they're happy with their choices? Means, what is a bad fit in the physiotherapy field? Who is a bad fit?
As said, Priyanka said, follow your passion. That is the thing. You have this thing that every student should do physiotherapy. So don't get pressurized by anyone. If you think you want to become a physiotherapist, definitely you should go for this field. You should have proper info if you want to choose this field. What exactly the physical therapist does, you should know it. Most importantly, choose to go under colleges which are government approved. You have to give an entrance exam, because I have seen examples of n number of people who are being misguided, because when we were entering into the physiotherapy field, there were a lot of colleges coming up. So the colleges should be affiliated. Another myth which is there now, that no, now there is nothing in physiotherapy, find something else. There is lot of opportunity. You need to find your opportunity. You need to work hard. You need to work for that. There are a lot of things you can do wherever you see the same. You have a physio. You see any person who is working at a orthopedic setup, you have a physio. You have a physio at women's health. So there is nothing like you don't have scope in here. If you want to become a physiotherapist, once you have decided, you have lots of opportunities here. Be positive, be healthy. That is most important, because you're going to be treating all the people. And I want to mention that people who are working at COVID setups right now, they are the true warriors, because they are treating the people day and night. They are giving their best. it is a very heavy duty job, and physiotherapists, yes, they are playing a lot important role in ICU rehab for this COVID patients. So I would suggest all the juniors that you come for right path. If you are choosing to go to a particular stream, do it, go into the depth of it, and then you will enjoy working here.
Great. So, talking to all of you, one portion or one question or one area of physiotherapy is left out, although, and that is underprivileged children. Or we can call them mentally retarded. So, how does physiotherapy help there? Because that's a big area where physiotherapy helps. So, what is your take on that, Kranti?
My take on this, that many people, first of all, are not educated that physiotherapy can help these children. So we need to make people aware that physiotherapy can help, and there are lots and lots of things done in this, like SI training. Okay, people don't know that sometimes when the child is not able to crawl or not able to stand, they directly term that he's having some problem, he's a special kid. But no,
Hmm.
sometimes it happens that this child may have delayed milestone. He will not crawl at all in his life, but he will sit properly, he will walk properly, and he will ask us that my child is not doing gripping properly. So the neighboring kid, he is just 2 months younger to my kid, and he's doing everything. So every kid is different. The my child is not like that. If you have seen a kid who is not able to do few movements, you put him under a special kid category. Okay, physiotherapy will help them to cure up their delayed milestone. And yes, like other few things in autism or CP, many and many approaches are coming up which are helping this kid, and they can improve a lot doing normal schooling, even though they have autism, even though they are into spectrum. So I don't think that the society should put them into a spectrum. They can do normal things with help of exercising. And yes, physiotherapists can play a lot important role for all these speeds. And if you are planning to work into it, there are few courses which you can do, and then you can
Yes, Dr. Priyanka, when she is, I think, not internet is not proper, you can answer the same question. What is your take on these special children?
Yes, I think definitely like neurophysiotherapy and pediatric neurophysiotherapy. It's a big branch in physiotherapy. So
Hmm.
as Kranti ma'am said that autism or cerebral palsy, various different conditions are there, which
Hmm.
can very much be treated using therapy. And the way of treatment is also very different. It is not traditional like you're going to
Hmm.
work with weights and work with equipment. It is going to be
Hmm.
you have to interact with the children. You have to use toys. Different colorful environment is used in which they can be comfortable. You have to work with
Yeah.
them for a long period of time to understand them, and then the therapist slowly, through different movements and play, they work
Hmm.
on improve.
Great, great, great. So, as we have understood, yoga also can contribute in this field, Anuja ma'am.
Yes, yes. Means I don't have actually the experience, but there are yogic courses for special child.
Yeah, yeah.
There are courses in
So, what we have understood today, that physiotherapy is a broad spectrum, and the awareness part is lacking, and therefore people don't feel like sometimes due to lack of awareness don't feel like going to a physiotherapist. I think this is a gap which can be bridged by us, making them aware that look, these scenarios maybe don't require a direct medication, but you can go to a physiotherapist and get yourself cured by all these methodologies or modalities, and the things which are really coming up, like some new terms are coming up, electrotherapy, maybe people are not knowing about them. So hopefully we have contributed to the society, making them aware that physiotherapy is a very big umbrella under which many different branches do exist, and it's an important field to be pursued and practiced in India. So thanks a lot for joining me on this panel discussion today. It was great. Technology has some plays a role, weird role sometimes, so people come and go, but yes, we enjoyed the discussion a lot. So thank you, all the three of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you to all the viewers also.
So 1 hour has passed, and we didn't even know that we have passed 1 hour. So nice talking to all the three of you.
Same,
Thank you.
same.